The natural world has been losing ground to human endeavour for many decades. Like us, wildlife cannot flourish without a home. An ambitious project to create new land began. If we build it, they will come. The saying goes that God created the earth, but the Dutch created the Netherlands. Through their mastery of water, the Dutch created land from areas of sea by use of waterworks and dikes. These measures were unkind to natural biodiversity and were built only for the benefit of human beings. It's time to readdress that imbalance. With the construction of the Afsluitdijk 90 years ago, the Zuiderzee was disconnected from the tidal influence of the sea. During the last century, it was the first of a series of constructions to create new land. The Houterdijk marked the northern border of the last stage to be completed, but the Marker Wadden was never realized. Instead, a murky 700 square kilometre inland lake was formed. Surrounded by unnatural borders, biodiversity in the immense body of water was under pressure. With some difficulty, this heron hunts for a thriving species. An exotic fish from Asia that doesn't belong in this ecosystem. But it's here at the Markermeer where nature becomes the beneficiary of Dutch ingenuity. For the very first time on this planet, mankind was to create land for nature. And to do this, you need a way to harvest and transport the building material. All the way over the North Sea comes the long pipeline that will deposit the sand until islands form. And to suck up the sand like a monstrous vacuum cleaner is the sand cutter. It's towed to the lake from its last job in the Middle East. Once at the right location, the cutting head is ready to be let down to dredge the sand and mud from the bottom of the lake. It will transform ingeniously designed islands from paper into reality. The floating pipes transport the heavy sludge to the desired locations. Soon, the first land appears above water, but it will take 5 years of dredging to complete the islands. Even when marshes for nature are the objective, you have to start with building dikes. The project has barely started, but nature doesn't wait. Immediately, algae take advantage of the freshly harvested mud and start doing what they've been doing for billions of years, producing oxygen. Pioneering avocets arrive at the basins, which will soon become marshes. In the water, microscopic creatures that feed on algae bloom into life. In a clear act of giving birth, new water fleas populate the basins. The combination of water, mud, and sunshine makes a solid foundation for a new food web. New life kickstarts a nascent ecosystem. Rock-solid foundations are not required to create marshes, so sludge takes the place of sand as the main island building material. In the first spring, pioneering birds settle for bare land. A little ringed plover covers her eggs laid on the first solid land the dredger has created. She is soon to be followed by pioneers that prefer to settle as a colony. But breeding in a colony does not mean it's acceptable to settle for a second best location. The male avocets display, trying to outclass competing neighbours and impress the females at the same time. And then, when the pecking order is determined, each couple establishes its own small territory. But the first chick born in this new land can be found near one of the dikes. It is a little ringed plover that has the privilege to be the first to inspect the ongoing work. It's quite overwhelming. The islands still resemble barren deserts, and as winter takes hold, these new lands might be taken for Siberia. There are no reeds or trees to give shelter to any birds. In their first summer, the islands have provided a small number of birds a much-needed breeding location. It's the smallest indication of how important these islands will become to many more once established. But first, the ice has to unlock the island's full potential. They will be an irresistible lure to many migrant birds. The common terns spend winter in Africa. Each spring they fly north to search for breeding grounds. And now there is a new location attracting the birds en masse. Thousands of terns come to claim their piece of land. The avocets now witness the courtship ceremony of their new, noisy neighbours. The main objectives in a male's life now consist of offering a fish to a potential mate, showing how beautiful he is, keeping competitors away, and of course, the desired result of all this effort. The self-contained water basins created by the dikes are filled with sludge and topped off with water. Once the sludge settles, the water is released. Over time, the basins morph into nascent marshland. In the spring sunshine, the inland mud of these man-made islands fractures, and where there are cracks, insects stake claims, and marsh fleawort is sure to grow. Despite the importance of sunlight, nature persists without it. One insect in particular is reviled by most in its adult form, but under the water's surface, it exerts a hypnotic, almost biomechanical beauty. From larva to pupa to release from its claustrophobic shell, the humble mosquito seems to exist in another world. The ongoing development of an archipelago created by us to serve nature. In the water, natural green fence posts magically emerge. Common reeds whose growth exhibits a beauty never witnessed in real time. Life proliferates in the water. Sticklebacks arrive in their masses. The males show off their mating colours, while the more practical look after and oxygenate their eggs that are hidden underground. And while we continue building the islands, the terns have formed a large breeding colony. Gulls join the terns to breed here as well. They must be shown who's in charge. The sand used for the islands was once the seabed. This means there are shells in abundance with which to decorate the nests. But if you're not on guard, a lazy neighbour might take his chance. Over time, thousands of tern eggs hatch. The young are soon all over the place. They are trying to be the first to get fish from their parents. But colony breeder terns only take care of their own young. With its own mother still to return, This hungry chick is not impressed. Underwater, there are insect larvae in their millions. They will form the principal food source for all forms of life underwater and topside. And then there's the noble art of fly fishing. Flies might seem innocent creatures, but some are specialized hunters. They fight over a mosquito larvae that has ended up in shallow water. When the squabble results in losing the catch, there's always a third party grateful for the offering. Beautiful as they are, predatory dragonflies specialize in insect hunting. A good vantage point overlooking hunting grounds is always worth fighting for. Soon, the skies above the islands are filled with lake flies. Mosquito-like insects, but lacking the need to bite other animals. This is the foundation for a further boost of impending biodiversity. There is change in the air. The sun has been warming up the water. With the arrival of colder air, the warmer water is fueling the formation of heavy thunderclouds. If the difference in temperature between the air and the water is large, then water spouts form. With no birds of prey yet scouting for young chicks as a food source, and no land predators, it's the elements that represent the biggest threat to the colony. But the danger passes. The typhoons die out as soon as they reach land. With the mud containing so much nutrition, all sorts of specialists come to enjoy the bounty. With its short bill and short legs, a common ringed plover snatches its prey from the mud it carefully disturbs with its feet. Redlegs, with their medium-sized legs and beaks, scavenge the shallows. They take sustenance from areas the shorter-legged cannot reach. The pied avocets adopt their own strategy, filtering the bottom of the shallows. The common snipe can reach the lake bottom in slightly deeper areas with its long legs and beak that can reach the tiny prey. The spoonbill employs another tactic, namely shoveling underwater to stir up edible tidbits. And if you want to stay dry, you follow your own strategy. The first sand martins have found the islands too. 4 of the 5 islands are for nature only, but on the 5th island, people are welcome too. At halfway through the 5 years of construction, the infrastructure is ready to officially welcome its first nature tourists. That's one small step for a man, but one giant leap for nature. Originators of the project present a jewel in development. This is a unique place where nature not only flourishes, but can also be observed from a distance and up close and personal. The human visitors have had their first island experience. For the terns, this will be a seasonal safe haven. But for now, with winter approaching, Africa is calling. Meanwhile, thousands of young terns have learned how to fly. Not fully independent yet, they are still fed by their parents. But they all take their turn in joining the Air Force, sometimes with a little encouragement. There's a long journey ahead, and feathers need to be prepped. Once ready, they will all migrate, young and old, to their winter grounds in West Africa. But the silence of the islands is short-lived. Large flocks of teals arrive. They migrate from northern territories, but may stay here during the winter if the weather allows. They'll take their share of food from the muddy shallows. Joining them will be the rare smew duck. This year, winter is too harsh for the teals. But for other birds, the islands form a welcome refuge. The bearded reedling is a beautiful songbird. A small flock has found the islands to feed on seeds of the reeds and other plants. The female lacks the beard, and yet is still named a bearded reedling. With spring already wrapped up, nature at the islands will soon enter a new phase. It is the turn of the reed birds, adding to the rapidly increasing list of animals, gaining profit from the new land. The reeds make a perfect shelter for many birds to build their nests. The common grebe even uses them as a building material. A number of bearded reedlings have decided the islands were more than just a place to hibernate. They start collecting material to build a nest. They will build it on the ground between the densest patch of reeds, well hidden and hardly ever seen by anyone. Sand martens, having found the insect bounty during their migration to Africa last autumn, have returned. Part of a newly created dune has eroded. But it's a good enough place for these pioneering birds. The species often breeds in collapsed riverbanks and even in man-made sand deposits. Now, they take the risk of choosing a sandbank not yet stabilised by the roots of covering plants. They know that soon there will be plenty of food right on their doorstep. Nestled in the marsh fleawort, the largest chick has its first view of its island world. Marsh harriers move in to do what they do best, stalk the marshes for chicks. This one is safe under its mother's wings. Rare black-necked grebes feed a feather to their young, an aid to smoothly regurgitate fish bones. Even rarer spotted crakes are now on the list of almost 200 bird species that have found the islands. The bearded reedlings have exchanged their diet of seeds for one of nutritional insects. They have to feed begging mouths, well hidden in the reeds. If you create shallow waters and give plants the chance to grow, soon fish will move in. The carp use the warm shallows to spawn and leave their eggs. It is obvious the insects and birds could have reached the islands by air, but how the frogs arrived at the islands, nobody knows. They too start the process of the creation of new life. Small wonders, almost invisible to the naked eye, frog spawn, slowly developing into tadpoles. With the sun shining on the islands, a day on the beach is a perfect way to relax. And to enjoy nature, you don't always have to see what is right under your nose. The colony of sand martins features young in different stages. Those with tiny mouths, and fully grown fledglings. The makeup of the colony all depends on when the journey from Africa was completed. The islands are slowly transforming into a bouquet of flowers and a colourful assortment of insects. Time has passed since the appearance of the first plants on the islands. The dragonfly larva has spent the first 2 years of its life between the reeds underwater. It is now ready for the final phase of its life. To mate and reproduce, it will first have to transform into the winged version of itself. Storms usually occur in autumn and winter. This one is a summer exception. At a 700 square kilometre lake, a storm can reach real power. Bad news for the sand martins. Part of the colony's sandbank cannot withstand the power of the wind and water. Some of the couples will have to start all over again. calm is restored. Tiny insects drop eggs in the water, one by one. But small, scaly hunters must be careful too. The predator may soon become prey. The terns can now fish throughout the islands. Unlike the waders with their different strategies, fishing birds are no less inventive. There are the dive bombers. The solitary sharpshooters. And the squadron of cormorants. The storm may have been a cruel blow for some of the martens, but it was no more than a small setback for the colony. Migrating birds are joining the island's numbers, together forming large flocks. The sand martins are just one of the many examples of life attracted to these islands, safe spaces where the natural world can stake a claim. "5 years ago, a hugely ambitious project began its gradual journey towards completion. For the very first time, new land would be formed from sludge, not sand. A unique archipelago was created, deliberately fashioned for the benefit of nature, and those of us who love nature. Time to stop the work. But not for long. It's been decided to create more islands. Increased biodiversity is worth the effort to change the map of the country even further. The ongoing Marker Wadden project has proved that human nature can provide new spaces for what was once lost. This is a first for the world, and by no means the last. Biodiversity has a willing and capable partner in the Netherlands.